my name is Kat, and fall is officially here. There's pretty colors, and I get to start drinking warm beverages again, and the weather is so nice. And, perhaps most importantly, there are the book releases. Historically, the autumn season has been pretty great for book releases. Like, it's a big, busy book release time of year. The books start coming, and they just keep coming. Something hit the ground running. Hey now! No. Anyways, I have 15 books here to show you guys today. Most of them are recent releases. Let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's do this. So the first book I have here is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. And this is the BOOKSPLOSION Book of the Month pick for September. We're doing a paid promotion with Disney Hyperion, so huge thanks to them for sponsoring this. We're all super excited about this one because, like, it's Alexandra Bracken. I already love her books so much. Of course I want to read her next one, especially when the book has, like, some spooky, creepy, might be a good time to read this during Halloween vibes to it. This is book one in a new middle grade series about a boy named Prosper Redding, whose great something grandfather made a deal with a demon and then broke that deal. Now the demon has come to collect, and he ends up possessing Prosper, who is desperately trying to break this bargain and get out of it before the demon just, like, owns him forever. So yeah, premise sounds awesome. I already know I love Alexandra Bracken's writing. If you're interested in joining us for this read along, the live show is going to be October 7th, so that is your read by date, and I'll go ahead and put all of the other details down below so you can check that out if you want. Next up, I have here All Rights Reserved by Gregory Scott Katsolis, and I received this book from Harlequintine, who I'm working with this month. This is also a recent release. It just came out at the end of August, and it's the first book in a new sci-fi dystopian type series. Basically, in this world, copyrights and trademarks and patents have just gotten out of control. For every word you say, you have to pay a certain amount of money to the copyright owner of that word. So just minimal communication can send someone into bankruptcy. We follow a teenage girl who just can't bring herself to, like, participate in the system, so she takes a vow of silence and kind of triggers this whole revolution. I have already read this book, so I'll go ahead and link my review video down below if you want to know a bit more about it, spoiler free. But yeah, it was really, like, thought-provoking and intriguing, and I'm excited to see where this series goes. The next book that I have here is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Another big September release, one that I am especially excited for because I loved Adam's previous books. He's just really good at, like, f***ing me up emotionally. I'm part robot, like, I'm not a big crier. It leads to rust problems, but Adam is real good at making me cry with his books. He's a lovely person IRL. Very tall. This book is set in a world just like our own, except on the day that you're gonna die, you get a phone call that lets you know, FYI, today's your last day. We follow two boys who both just got their death day warning, and they end up meeting and spending their last day together, and I'm already sad just telling you guys about the premise. I think I'm gonna do another 24-hour readathon soon and try to read this book in 24 hours since it takes place over one day. I feel like that's how it should be read. So that's my plan. It's happening soon. The next book I have here is, of course, Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, another big September release. Originally, this was just a novella about Kale, and I wasn't even sure if I was gonna read it or not. But then it grew and grew into a 700-page book that is now just a part of the series. It's not an extra, like, it's book 6 in the series. I don't like the cover, and I didn't like how Kale was handled in the last book. So yeah, I have some reservations about this book, but I have been hearing good things from people who were also apprehensive and who read this and really enjoyed it, which is very promising. Like, I'm so invested in this series now. I've put in so much time and money that I have to see it through to the end, and I really, really hope this is a strong installment. The next book I have here is Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, and I received this book from Penguin Random House, who I'm also working with this month. Now, one thing I've noticed about E. Lockhart's books is that they are pretty much impossible to summarize before you've read them, and still difficult to summarize after you've read them. They tend to be very mysterious and complex and focusing on relationships that you can't easily summarize in like the 2 paragraphs of a synopsis. So before reading it, I get the sense that it's about, I feel like I'm making like a psychic prediction. I don't normally just like read the synopsis to you guys, because you can do that yourself if you want to, but I feel like the best way to describe this book is to just say these words: an intense friendship, a disappearance, a murder, or maybe 2. A bad romance, or maybe 3. Blunt objects, disguises, blood, and chocolate. The American dream, superheroes, spies, and villains. So that kind of tells me nothing about the book, but it also kind of gives me a sense for what the book is about, you know? Anyways, I feel like with E. Lockhart books, it's better to just go in not knowing a lot, and after We Were Liars, which I really enjoyed, like I trust E. Lockhart, so I'm into this. The next book I have here is A Poison, Dark, and Drowning by Jessica Cluess. And this is the second book in the Kingdom on Fire series, with the first book being A Shadow Bright and Burning, which I'm currently reading, which is why I have this on hand. Now, I'm not going to talk about the synopsis of this book because it's book 2, spoilers, but book 1 is about a teenage girl named Henrietta who lives in Victorian London. She has the ability to burst into flames, and this makes people think that she is the first female sorcerer in ages, and she's kind of held up as the chosen one. Except she's pretty sure she's not actually the chosen one, but if she's not the chosen one, things are gonna get even worse for her. So she's playing a very dangerous game of deception as she begins her sorcerer training. I've been meaning to read this since it came out last year. Like, a bunch of other people were reading it and enjoying it, and some people were even like, Kat, you're gonna like this. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like something I would like. Victorian London, magic, playing with the chosen one trope. I'm in, but then I didn't read it until this book came out, and I'm like, it's time. I have 2, I can marathon them, let's go. So yeah, I'll be talking more about the series in my next wrap-up. Stay tuned for that. Next up, I have here the Mortality Doctrine Trilogy by James Dashner. The Eye of Minds is book 1, book 2 is The Rule of Thoughts, and book 3 is The Game of Lives. Now, these books started coming out a couple years ago, but it is only recently that the entire trilogy is available in paperback, and I have just been meaning to read something else by James Dashner. I read the first Maze Runner book, and I enjoyed it, but not enough to continue on in that world, but this world sounds like something much more my speed. It's set in a world with like this virtual reality video game, and there's hackers and real murders start occurring, and the trilogy is complete for the marathonin. What's not to like? Next up, I have here Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor. Now, the story, the words part of this book was originally released in ebook form as like a novella companion to the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, which is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, but I never read this story. I don't know why, I just never got around to it. But now it has been published in this gorgeous physical edition. Sidebar, look at this book. Look at this book. Look at this book. Look at this book. Like, look, oh my god, the colors, the colors! Of course it's illustrated too on the inside. Like, it's just, I still haven't read Strange the Dreamer. I know, I'm gonna get to it, okay? But this book I'm probably gonna get through first because it's just so gorgeous and it's short, and I'm just like, I'm real excited to have this physical copy in my hands, so I'm probably gonna read this real soon. Next up, I have here Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. Now, this book came out earlier this year, and it's been on my radar this whole time, and I'm just like, I should pick that up. It sounds like something I would like, and I finally decided, like, it's time. I had to buy it. This is a YA contemporary that follows 3 friends as they attend this geeky convention known as SupaCon. SupaCon. One main character is a girl named Charlie, who is a famous vlogger, so like relatable. She just had a very public breakup, so she is ready to show people that like she's over it and she's doing good. And then she bumps into another like internet famous actress who she's always had a crush on, and she discovers that that crush might not be one-sided. And then we also follow 2 of Charlie's friends, a girl named Taylor, who is very shy and deals with anxiety, and Jamie, their best guy friend, who Taylor is actually kind of in love with. I am into all of this. Like, we have the awesome geeky convention setting and these 3 friends and their relationship all together, and then the 2 separate romantic relationship plot lines. Can't wait. Cannot wait. The next book I have here is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. Now, I don't know much about this book other than the fact that it's like this magical, whimsical, romantic, gorgeously written novel that everyone at BookNet Fest was recommending. I mean, like, BookNet Fest was a great place for recommendations in general. Like, I came back with a lot of new books to check out, but this was the one that I was convinced to just buy immediately. Like, I am such a sucker for gorgeous writing, and I started reading the first page before purchasing it, and I was just instantly like spellbound by the writing and the words, and I knew I had to read this. So yeah, I'm planning to read this one very soon, and I'll do a better plot breakdown in my reviews video. The next book I have here is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This is a YA contemporary about a boy named Tanner who, when he lived in California, he was out publicly as bisexual, but when his family relocates back to Utah, it kind of nudges him back into the closet. He only has to make it through 1 more semester of high school before the freedom of college, when his best friend dares him to participate in this book writing program where these honor roll students attempt to draft a novel in 4 months. Try NaNoWriMo, do it in 1 month. Rookies. He thinks it's gonna be pretty easy to draft a book in 4 months. Another rookie mistake! But then he starts falling for Sebastian, the Mormon prodigy who participated in this program before and who sold his novel and now mentors the class. So yeah, this sounds great. And I'm so glad that this book like popped into my radar because I didn't know it existed until Laini Taylor started tweeting about how great it was. And I was like, buy it! And the final book I have to show you guys today is In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. This is another new release. I think it came out in September, and it's another book that I don't know much about that I kind of just bought on an impulse because someone I trusted recommended it. The specific endorsement that got me to buy this book came from Seanan McGuire, who wrote Every Heart a Doorway and Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which are 2 like magical, beautifully written portal fantasy books that I read earlier this year. One day I was on Twitter. I'm on Twitter every day. I'm on Twitter all the time. Follow me on Twitter. One day I was on Twitter. I saw Seanan McGuire raving about this book and talking about how it was like a masterpiece and just like beautiful, wonderful portal fantasy. And I was like, okay, if Seanan McGuire, who has written some of my favorite portal fantasy, is recommending this portal fantasy, I'm in. I think it'll be a good one. I think I'm gonna like it. All right, that is it. Those are all of the books for this haul, but you know, it's autumn and the book releases are plentiful, so I'll have more soon. I mean, I'll probably have another video that's not a book haul up before the next book haul, but who knows with me? I'm trying not to promise things that I can't follow through on. So yeah, I'll have another video up eventually. Probably. So I will see you then. Goodbye! What a mess.